coming to the development of the neuroepithelial cells into different layers of the spinal cord, we can see that and another important point, basically the neuroepithelial cells were pseudostratified epithelium cells, stratified epithelial cells, which differentiated into neuroblasts, which were cells with prominent nuclei as well as nucleoli and pale staining nuclei. And these form the mantle layer, which is important for the formation of gray matter containing cell bodies of the neuroblasts, which will form the future cell bodies of the neurons. And the fibers of the neuroblasts are formed by processes which are either central and peripheral, which will be discussed in another video. So the neuroblasts, basically their fibers form the part of the marginal layer, which is the outer layer which forms the future white matter. But another important point, so after the neuroblast cells have started to divide in the mantle layer which surrounds the neuroepithelial layer, suppose this is the neuroepithelial layer, and now in the periphery we have the mantle layer of neuroblasts. Okay, and basically the ventral part of the neural tube will form the basal region of the mantle layer, which is going to form the anterior horns of the gray matter, which are responsible for motor function, which are responsible for carrying information from the central nervous system to the muscles as well as the targeted glands, which have to respond to the stimulus. And now we have coming to the dorsal part. Now when the dorsal part of the mantle layer thickens due to the proliferation of the neuroblasts, we get the alar plates. Alar plates are formed by the dorsal region, and the dorsal part of the mantle layer basically forms the dorsal gray horns of the dorsal gray horns, basically, or the posterior horns of the gray matter, which are responsible for sensory which are responsible for allowing sensory neurons to enter the central nervous system. Sensory neurons. So in this diagram, the surrounding part is the marginal layer. These are the mantle layers, the alar and basal parts. This is the alar part. It's the mantle layer. This is the basal part, which is ventral. Okay, that's right. Alar dorsal and basal ventral. So this is the neuroepithelium, which is only a thin layer present in the center. Okay, and basically a groove is formed between the. Okay, another important point: how is the mantle layer divided into dorsal as well as ventral regions? It is due to the presence of a groove called the sulcus limitans, formed in the layer of the neuroepithelium. Between the midpoint of the ventral and dorsal regions, we have the sulcus limitans, which divides the mantle layer into two parts, the ventral and the dorsal parts. Okay, and between the ventral and the dorsal part, we have an intermediate area, which is responsible for the formation of the lateral gray horns of the gray matter, and it is only present in some segments of the spinal cord, which includes the levels present of the segments present from T1 to T12, as well as the L2 or L3 levels of the spinal cord. You can say the sympathetic portion of the spinal cord contains the lateral gray horns at the level present from T1 to L2. So we have discussed about the formation of the alar and basal plates. Okay, and the roof and floor plates are basically formed in the neuroepithelium. The floor plate is formed in the ventral part of the neuroepithelium, and the basal part is the roof is formed in the dorsal part of the neuroepithelium, and the floor is formed in the ventral part of the epithelium. Let me label it. The floor and roof are separated by this sulcus limitans. Okay, thank you very much.